All right. Hello and welcome to section 3.4. What we're doing today, and much like in class, find the slope of the line that passes through the given points. All right, here's the points, and we need this slope formula in order to determine the answer to this problem. So I'm going to have negative 6 minus 1 over x2 is 2 minus 3. Do your calculation. Negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7. Divided by 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Simplifies to 7 over 1, or just simply 7 for our slope. Okay, got three more and done the same way. Next problem, number 5. How about 2 points again? In number 5, is that right? Number 5. Okay. Y2 is 1 minus y1 is 1 over x2 is negative 2 minus 5. So here we get 0 over negative 7, which equals 0. So our slope between these 2 points is 0. So that's telling us that we know what? That it's a horizontal line. The slope given between these is a horizontal line, and that makes sense because our y values are both 1, which would indicate on these 2 points that we plot them together and draw the line, then it's going to be connected to each other at a point 1 on the y-axis. Where am I here? Okay, number 8, same way. My little guide is gone here. Now we'll take this from memory. So here I got y2 is 5 minus y1, which is negative 3, divided by x2 is negative 2 minus negative 2. Becomes 5 plus 3, 8 over negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So this, when 0's in the denominator, it's undefined. Okay, remember talking to you about that in class. So be certain you identify both as to which is which. 0 in the denominator does not exist. Okay, next up, number 12 from our textbook. Page 236, probably should have told you that at the beginning. And hold on a minute, got to make sure this is right. Okay. So we got to find the slope, and this way we got a picture of it so we can count. I can go from this point to this point using the rise over the run. And let's say I start from here and go to this point here. So that means I'm going to go down how many? When I'm going down in this direction, that means I'm going in the negative direction. So my rise is going to be negative something. Let's see, how many we're going to go down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Going down 7, negative 7. And I'm running to the right, which is the positive direction. Okay, and I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4. Running 4. So there it is. That's my slope. Negative 7 over 4. Okay, I get the same result if I went from this point up to this point. How about I switch colors, get fancy? So I'm going to go up this way. So this time, if I went from this point to this point, I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? I'm going to rise 7. And then I'm going to run how many? Well, from this point, I'm going to the left. So that means I'm going in the negative direction. So that tells me I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4 to the negative side, and it'll be negative 4. So these two are equal to each other, and therefore the same, negative 7 over 4. Okay, number 18 from the book, find the slope from an equation. All right, anytime you have the find a slope from an equation, we have to make sure it is in y equals mx plus b form, and we're looking for m because m equals the slope. Okay, and I showed you y in class, so if that's what the slope is in this equation, the slope is simply 5. All right, it's already in the slope-intercept form. That's it. That's as easy as you do. All these problems, get it into this form. It's a very powerful form. You will be able to derive a lot of information from it given the equation is set to that form. Okay, here's another one. This one's in standard form. So we basically wanted to get it, make sure it is in this form. Take this with you if you need to for each and every problem to remind yourself you've got to get it in this form. So all we have to do here is add 5x to both sides. Okay, so I've got y equals 5x plus 10. I don't have to remind you that we can't add unlike terms like this, so we write it out this way. I've got it mirrored into this fashion, y equals mx plus b, so I put the 5x first. The x plus the constant always comes at the end. So now I can look at this and say, what's the slope? M equals 5. Number 26. How about it? Let's see, I want to do what? Let's see, it's not in the y equals mx plus b form. So I'll make it. Another way of saying that was to solve for y. So here I'm going to subtract 3x. Subtract 3x. I've got negative 5y equals negative 3x. What would that be? Plus 1. Okay, from there, divide everything by the negative 5. And now y equals 3 over 5x minus 1 over 5. Therefore m equals 3 over 5. Okay, and don't forget that little trick I told you about if you wanted to consider that. 3x minus 5y, that equals 1. Well, if you start off this problem by dividing everything by the coefficient of this y, and negative 5. Okay, so you know what happens here. This just becomes the y. Okay, the negatives cancel out and make it positive y. And then, therefore, this can be added to both sides and just bringing this over. You know, the sign changes. So this is going to be ending up being 3 over 5x, which was our same answer we got over here. Okay, but whatever you're comfortable with. In this respect, you got to know what you're doing and the reason for it. We're starting by dividing it by negative 5 initially to get the y by itself. whatever's x is, the coefficient of x here, it's going to change signs when you move it over to the other side. Okay, if you're not ready for it, don't worry about it. I'd rather see you work it out this way and be certain of yourself. Okay, let's see. Determine whether each pair of lines is parallel, perpendicular, or neither. All right, so we have to compare the slopes of each of these. So let's see. This one here is 2 over 9. This is negative 2 over 9. So if they are parallel, what is it? They have to be same slope. Okay, are these the same? Well, this is 2 over 9, and this is negative 2 over 9. So they're not parallel. No parallel. Perpendicular. Are they perpendicular? If they're perpendicular, they have to be negative reciprocal. Reciprocal, I think. Not sure about the spelling there. Reciprocal. All right, so are they reciprocals of each other? Well, if this is 2 over 9, I'll do it side by side. 2 over 9, and this is negative 2 over 9. Well, they're not reciprocals of each other. So they're not perpendicular. Therefore, the answer to this one is neither. Does not fit any category. Let's talk about this slope here. Let's see. I've got this. If this is 2 over 9, then if I had a line with what reciprocal would make it perpendicular. So if this is 2 over 9, the reciprocal line would have to have a slope of 9 over 2, and this would have to be negative because this one's already positive. Remember the general rule. Remember the general rule. They have to multiply to equal negative 1, and they do. Okay, this one, same job. Determine whether they're parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So what I like to do is I like to write them side by side. I don't want them like this. I want to work it out here. So let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, that's better, I think. Much better. Okay, we got that. Oh, what? Somebody's playing games here. All right, let's try this one. First of all, so what am I going to do here? I could do what? This is kind of a little backwards. Let's try it. Can I rearrange this to be, can I make this, I'll subtract 1 from both sides. Okay. Then I would have what? 5y equals, this I could write as 6x minus 1. And then I could divide everything by 5. Right? And then I'd have y equals, I'll keep it as 6 over 5 x minus 1 over 5. Okay, if I don't like the looks of that, I could just put the y equals over here now at this point. Okay, and get, scratch that off. Either way, the slope for this equation here is going to be 6 over 5. Okay, m equals. Do the same thing over here. this one here, I'm going to add 12x to both sides. Add 12x. Well, I've got 10y equals 12x plus 1. Now I'm going to divide both sides by the 10. And I've got this y equals, what does that simplify to be? 2 goes into 12 6 times, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. X plus the 1 over 10. Okay, so the slope for this side here is 6 over 5. There they are. So you can see they are the same. And whether they're the same, they are parallel. Nice. All right, in this problem, we've got the grade of the road is written. The grade of a road is its slope written as a percent. Find the grade of this road. So it's basically looking at this as this line's supposed to be straight, however you get the idea. On this incline here, we've got this is the rise, right? This portion here. And the other is the run. This straight line here is the run. Okay. It's not this line here. That's the hypotenuse, and that is not considered the run. This is more in line of the y-axis being here, right? And this being the continuation here. That's part of the x-axis. So this point here is the origin. Okay, nevertheless, it's going to be the rise over the run. Okay, so the rise here is 2 over the run, which is 16. Simplifies to be 1 over 8. And plug in 1 over 8 in your calculator, and you get 0.125. Let me write it down here. 0.125. And we have to take this decimal number and change it to a percent, so you can multiply it by 100, and that'll get you 12.5%. That is the grade of that road. All right, and that's it for that type of problem. Rise over the run is simply it. All right, folks, this is number 57 and the last problem. Oh, 57 is it? Yeah, 57 on page 239. And this is what we've got. This graph approximates the number of U.S. households that have televisions Y, the y-axis they're talking about here, a little bigger, in millions for year X. And here's the years from 2003 to 2009 that can be depicted on the graph. Find the slope of the line. Find the slope of the line and write a sentence using the slope as a rate of change. Don't forget to attach the proper units. All right, so they want to know, what does it mean, basically, in regular English language. Find the slope of the line. So that's our first task, the slope. Well, I got a picture of it. I could count the rise, right, over the run. I don't think that would be, that might be okay to do that. Or I could use the y2 minus y1 thing over x2 minus x1. Okay, let's try it. Let's see. If I did the rise over the run, what have I got here? They've got the point here of 109.5, and if I counted that up to the 112, well, 109.5 up to 112 is 2.5. I can say that's the rise. I'll write it here. Rise is 2.5, and the run is, if I go from 205 over to 2007. If I go to 2005 to 2007, that's an increase of 2. So the run is 2. So I got 2.5 over 2. Okay, what does that mean? So if I've got 2.5 over 2, and I simplify this, how can I simplify that? By putting dividing 1/2 into both of these, or 0.5. So how many halves are in 2.5? That would be 5. It's like how many 50-cent pieces are in $2.50? 2 for each dollar, so it would be 4, 2 for one, 2 for another, and then a half would make it 5 total, and then that would be over 1/2 goes into 2 4 times. 4 half dollars are in $2. So here's my unit, here's my slope basically, 5 over 4. And what does it mean? Write a sentence. That means, let's see, what does that mean? 5 million, this is in million here. They told us that in millions, somewhere up here, in millions, televisions. So that means 5 million televisions, TVs, are sold every, or not sold, but was it for every 4? I guess it's households increase. 5 million TVs for every 4 years. I guess that's the best way to say it. That's how many televisions are growing. So the U.S. households with television is still growing through these years and beyond. 5 million TVs are added every 4 years. Here's my years. Yeah, and that would be the x-axis here. Y over x. Okay? I thought everyone had a TV. Okay, that's it for 3.4. Hope you found this helpful, or find it helpful. And see you in class. All right.